Today, I want to look at a character in the Bible that's mostly known for her bravery and courage. Her name is Esther, and I want to look at how she saved the Jews from genocide in the Persian Empire. So, we all know the story of Esther, how she became queen after Queen Vashti was deposed, and after that, how Mordecai and Haman had a conflict, and Haman went to King Xerxes to kill all the Jews. But what I want to look at is how Esther showed bravery in all this. In chapter 4, in verse 1, it says, when Mordecai learned of all that had been done, which was Haman going to King Xerxes to kill all the Jews and issue a decree, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the city, wailing loudly and bitterly. This just probably a fraction of what happened to the other Jews probably living in the Persian Empire. But this is what Mordecai, Esther's guardian, did. And he goes to the palace to Esther for help, and Esther just doesn't know what to do because she hasn't been called to the king for 30 days, as it says in the last few parts of verse 11. But she still tries to help by saying that in verse 16, it says, go gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. We might just take this as a verse and read it, but if you look at the original Persian customs, it says that if you go to the king without being invited or to his inner court, you be put to death. And it also says this in verse 11 and 12, which says, all the king's officials and the people of the royal provinces know that for any man or woman who approaches the king in the inner court without being summoned, the king has but one law, that they be put to death, unless the king extends the golden scepter to them and spares their lives. But 30 days have passed since I was called to go to the king. So this just shows the bravery of Esther. She was trying to be reliant into saving her people so that she would even face death itself, so she could go up against the most powerful man on the earth to save her people. But she also shows patience and wisdom in how she doesn't just go and tell the king that she was a Jew and that all of her people were going to be killed in front of his advisors and officials, but she acts with wisdom and invites him and Haman to a private party where she eventually exposes them all, as it says in chapter 7, verse 3. Then Queen Esther answered, if I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, grant me my life. This is my petition, and spare my people. This is my request. For I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. If we had been merely sold as male and female slaves, I would have kept quiet, because no such distress would justify disturbing the king. This just shows how wise and patient Esther was, and showing that she was a Jew, and how brave she was against the most powerful man on earth. And this wisdom was how God guided her through all this, even though he wasn't mentioned in the book of Esther. And this is why I think the Holy Spirit put Esther 4:14 here, just to encourage all of us that no matter what our place or circumstance might be, that God has a purpose for us. As it says in Esther chapter 4, verse 14, for if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Let's remember that regardless of where we are, we can always rely that God has placed us in a place that we can always do stuff to help him and live out his holy will.